Okay, now, I don't know if this is working or not, so I am going to do a test and just see what's going on the webs, because I don't know if you can hear me, but we're going to find out. So I'm just going to go onto my page here. You might hear me talking, or you won't hear me talking. One or the other. Looks like you won't hear me talking. Hang on. Oh, yep. There is some volume. Okay, so I might do my speakers down so I don't hear myself echoing so much, and you're probably hearing me echo now because I've got my iPad on, but I think everything is working. Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. Right. Hey guys, Down Under Tea, and we are back today with episode 123 of Meet Me in the Bunker. I am I'm taking the Rumble Studio out for a spin today. So I've got it working through my Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, X, and I think that's about it. I don't have Twitch or anything. All of those other fancy things. This was hard enough to like work through. I actually had to like set up this podcast 3 times to like make sure I did it right, because I lost it, clicked on the wrong thing and then screen disappeared. And of course, I panicked and it's swearing F this and F that. And it's like, okay, but we are here and we are working because I can see myself on X. So I'm hopefully also on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook. And yeah, we are back with another show. I have had the worst month of internet today, of internet over the last month. It just got, since I came back from the US, it just got decrepitly worse and worse and worse. And it was like most of the day was spent buffering and rebooting modems and all of the crap that everybody hates doing. So that's what my month has been like. My internet has been basically shit. So finally today, I have had my fibre to the house from the internet in the road. The cable is now going directly to my house rather than to the node, and then I've got the modem and it's going to pick up the thing from there and blah, blah, blah. Now I've got the box and the wire comes from the street to the box, from the box to the modem. So I am praying again, touching all the wood that I can find, that my internet problems will now be a thing of the past if this fibre to the house is as good as they say they are. Otherwise, I'm just going to scrap the whole lot and just going to get a Starlink connected, because I bought the Starlink Mini when I was in the US and it was fantastic. So if all else fails with this hardwired internet, I'm going to pack it up. I'm going to throw it in the street and I'm going to unpack my Starlink and put it on the roof. Give Elon a call. But we've got only, hopefully only a short show. It's 10 to 12 here already, of course, at midnight in Australia. It's the 28th of May 2025. Can you actually believe we are like 3 days away from the 6th month of the year, halfway through the year already? Like, you know how they say after 30 it's all downhill? Well, do you know what? That hill looks like that. It just drops. Like, time just goes so fast. I cannot actually fathom the fact that we are in June of 2025. Like, we've got tax in 30 days, 33 days. We've got to all do our taxes again. I feel like I just finished all of that. But nope. Like death, taxes are right there, facing you every year. Well, death doesn't face you every year, thank God. Although it could be sooner than I'm expecting these days with the stress in my life. But I'm still managing to hang on. I get up every morning, I put one foot in front of the other. There's a few tears and crying and screaming and throwing stuff. But I get through the day. The day's nearly over as it's 10 to midnight. But, okay. What has been happening around the world since I haven't been here? I think the last broadcast I did was on live stuff was Zelensky in the White House, for goodness sake. God, that was ages ago. Feels like a lifetime ago almost. But so what's happening now with Trump and Putin? Look, I'm with Trump. I am firmly in the he's gone fucking crazy team. And as far as I'm concerned, he is losing all credibility. Absolutely any credibility he may have had left. Well, it's down. It's going down the gurgler fast, very fast. Speaking of gurglers, American men, Democrats have decided that American men are the problem, the reason that they lost the election. So they're about to throw away 20 million of your bucks, your tax dollars, your hard-earned cash, to have a summit at the Ritz-Carlton. Yes, that's right, you heard it right, the Ritz-Carlton. They're going to have a summit. They're calling it SAM, S-A-M, Speaking with American Men. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but as far as acronyms go, I think Speaking with American Men actually spells SWAM. SWAM, Speaking with American Men. So, you dim Democrats, if you want to, like, do anything worthwhile with that $20 million, you should take some swimming lessons, because swam, not Sam, you need swimming lessons, because you guys are drowning fast with all of this crap. Why would you think that trying, like, okay, imagine being the American man that you want to connect with, that you're trying to reach out to get his vote. Imagine if you're that man and you're sitting there counting your pennies, scraping through, see if you can make pay this week last until next pay. And the 6 o'clock news comes on and you hear that your friendly Democrat leaders are spending $20 million to have a summit, which is just a code word for a fancy dinner and drinks, and everybody gets shit-faced and probably has a freak off down in the dungeons back at Congress. We all know about the dungeons, don't we? The cages. We all remember the cages, thanks to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nothing ever came of the cages, did it? But yeah, it's just code for a $20 million party at your expense. $20 million. buckaroos, people. So I don't know what you think about that. I think it's shit. I really think it's shit. I don't think that anyone would be like happy to do that, to spend that money, or to be sitting there at their dinner table, thinking this is a good idea. This is a bad idea, Democrats. A very bad idea. And so we are just looking at a story here. I'll just see if I can bring it up. As I said, I'm doing all these things on my I'm doing this through my Streamlabs, but I'm actually doing it through Rumble Studios through my Streamlabs, which I had to learn how to do tonight as well. So you have to bear with me while I figure out how to do this properly without screwing it up all the time every time I want to share it. So I'm going to share that. Right. So we're going to go onto this page, and I'm going to, actually, I will just adjust that screen a little bit that way for now while I read this story. So this is the Democrats. This is your Democratic Party that still to this day cannot figure out why they lost the 2024 election, deciding how they're going to win those voters back. Democrats are spending $20 million on a study examining how to speak to American men after losing ground with the demographic during the 2024 election cycle. No shit, you freaking told us all we were racists and toxic masculines, toxic men. The New York Times revealed, speaking with American men, SWAM, a strategic plan is a $20 million project crafted by Democrats to study, listen to this, study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces of male voters, the Times reported on Sunday. Known as SAM, the study will specifically examine young male voters. Hang on, let me just do this. Yeah, okay. The specifically examine young male voters and how the party can connect with the demographic. Additionally, the study advised rolling out pro-Democrat ads in video games. In video games. Listen, I've got a gamer. My son's a gamer. Let me tell you one thing. The absolute last freaking thing a gamer wants is a political freaking ad in the middle of their championship round. That is the stupidest, dumbest, dimmest idea I have ever heard, that they would even contemplate that putting video game ads in young men's video games is a good idea. Good luck with that, Democrats. The study's revelation was made in an overarching article detailing the uphill battle Democrats face after the 2024 election, which included Democrats scrambling to replace former President Joe Biden as the nominee with just more than 100 days left in the election cycle, and ultimately delivering all 7 battleground states to President Donald Trump. The Democratic Party's tarnished image could not come at a more inopportune moment, the article detailed. In this era of political polarization, the National Party's brand is more important and influential than ever, often driving the outcomes of even the most local races. In response, Democrat operatives and donors have gathered at swank hotels to craft plans on how to draw back the working class. So they're gathering The oxymoron in that sentence alone. They have gathered at swank hotels to craft plans on how to draw back the working class and male voters. These people are so dumb. How are they so freaking dumb? God, please tell me. Trump made big inroads with male voting during the 2024 election cycle. No shit. A Fox News voter survey published in November found that men aged 18 to 44 supported Trump at 53% compared to former Vice President Kamala Harris at 45. Well, surprised it's that high, to be honest. While the Associated Press found that more than half of male voters under the age of 30 voted for Trump instead of Harris, including roughly 6 in 10 white male voters supporting Trump. About 1/3 of male black voters supported Trump, as did about 50% of young Latino male voters. So, if the Democrats think that throwing a political ad in the middle of, I don't know, what's one of the games that kids play, these, battle games where you're battling with people all over the world and it's like a competition. I hear my son screaming all the time when the internet lags. Imagine if they throw in an ad like right in the middle of the freaking thing. So Trump's support among young black and Latino male voters jumped by 20%. And why do you think that was, Democrats? Why do you need a $20 million dinner and piss up to figure out why 20% of male and black Latino male black and Latino voters, why do you think it jumped 20%? Because it wasn't because of anything you didn't do. It was everything you did do. Everything you did pushed them further away. And that is just how it goes. That is the crux of the matter. You pushed those voters away from your party. It's the old saying, the Democrat Party, I didn't leave the Democrat Party left me. Well, you left them. You left them people behind. Those young men, those American men that you want to spend $20 million trying to figure out how to talk to, they're never coming back if you continue on this path, spending good money after bad. I to be honest with you, where the hell you get people to donate money to your causes, I don't know. I just don't know, because it's absolutely a farce. Democratic strategist Michael Cerezo, I'm not sure, told Fox Digital on Tuesday that he does not take issue with Democrats investing in voter engagement strategies, but added that he found it hilarious that people in suits are hanging out in luxury hotels asking how they can talk to day-to-day Americans. That's exactly what I just said. We are having an issue with the messenger more than the message, Serrazzo said, arguing that voters support long-standing Democratic policies such as all these things that Trump's doing: affordable housing, etc., etc. Affordable housing, cheaper drugs, like cheaper prescription drugs, more job opportunities, cheaper energy costs. These are the policies that the Democrats used to have. Democrats just need to take a reality check on how they convey their messaging to voters. It's not a reality check. It's not as simple as just a reality check anymore. They've gone way beyond reality. Way beyond reality. There's no checking what they've done. They have to fully start from scratch. They have to go back. They have to, like after a football game or a baseball game, a big game, and you lose, the coach makes you sit down, or the coach will sit down and go through the footage and go through the film and see where you went wrong and show you where you went wrong. Guys, just go back through the footage, because if you can't see where you went wrong with American men, black, Latino, white, whatever, if you can't see it, there is no coming back. You're done. You are done. You're about as done as mainstream media is done. I just don't understand how, after all these years and all these Democrats who've been in the game, how we continue to make those same choices, he added. Like Rahm Emanuel or all of these sorts of big names. They're just like, yeah, we're going to figure it out how to win in, rural North Carolina by hanging out in a New York hotel. That makes no sense to me, makes no sense to him, and it makes no sense to me either. And strategically, I don't care how much money you spend on focus groups, because that's the focus group. The focus groups aren't going to bring you the votes. So stop wasting money there. If you're doing that, you're just negating any type of investment that you're putting into how to have a conversation with voters. Just have the conversation. Democrat donors treating men like endangered species on a remote island they need to study probably won't rebuild trust. MSNBC Rotimi Adoy posted to X in response to the Times report. This kind of top-down anthropological approach misses the point. People don't want to be decoded. They want to be understood and met where they are. Couldn't have said it better myself. The idea that you can fix the male voter problem that exists with black, Latino, and white men by spending $20 million to study their syntax like they're a foreign culture is exactly why there's a disconnect. These voters aren't a research subject, they are citizens. So, we'll just scroll down here. Democratic donors are planning to spend $20 million to figure out how to talk to dudes, pollster Frank Luntz said. A handful of critics reposted a video from the 2024 campaign cycle that featured men declaring they were man enough to support Harris for president. The grassroots ad went viral in October 24 as social media commentators panned it, the world panned it, the cringiest political ad ever created, and pointed out was created by a former producer for Jimmy Kimmel and featured actors vowing to support Harris. Do you know what? Those actors that vowed to support Harris, I bet you they are like ecstatic that the vote is private, that the actual vote itself is a private thing, because I don't think a lot of them actually voted for Kamala Harris. And I don't even know if George Clooney voted for Kamala Harris, because I think they all knew she was a loser, but they still put their hands out to take money, because the Democrats are so disgusting. They just think that they can buy anybody. They can buy their loyalty with their money. Your money, not their money, your money. So they're buying the loyalty of these superstars and these singers and these Puff Diddy types with your money and your donations and other idiots' donations, whoever those billionaires are that keep flooding the Democrats with money. They're, using all of that money and mocking you with it. This is mocking you. I mean, how much more can you take? How much more mocking is there to be had? I don't know. But speaking of mocking, the book, Jake Tapper is dancing around the country at the moment, raking in the cash on his book. What was it called? Oh, geez, what's it called? Not Unforgiven. Jake Tapper's book. Jake Tapper book. Of course it doesn't. Original Sin, that's it. Of course, it's called Original Sin. So we've got the book Original Sin coming out now, and Jake Tapper is fully backing himself, like unbelievably not unrepentant about what he did, what his part that he played in this whole Biden cover up. Because anybody, like literally blind Freddie or Helen Keller, even, she couldn't see or speak or hear, she would have known that Joe Biden was incompetent and cognitively declining rapidly. Now, obviously, we couldn't see the cancer. We couldn't see the prostate cancer from the outside. But somebody on the inside knew about that damn cancer. Somebody knew about it. Dr. Jill Hunter, his doctor had to have known about it. These people lie. They vomit lies. They continuously spew lies and are just allowed to get away with it. Jake Tapper, allowed to get away with it. He's making a book. I would love to hear. I'd love to hear what his like prepayment on the book was. Like, what was his initial payment to guarantee, like, to sign the contract for the book, because we knew all of these things were going to come out. We knew all of these books would come out, but we, like, the hypocrisy of these people to sit here and tell you, please buy my book because I'm telling you the truth about Biden now. But excuse me for not telling you then, because, hey, I didn't know. Well, if you didn't know, then you weren't watching, because we knew. We didn't need a book. We saw it plain as day in front of our faces every day for 5 years, 4 years. 4 years that he was in, plus all of his campaigning from the basement in 2020. It was a farce from the beginning. From the beginning. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. It was a goddamn farce. If I saw a clip today, Alex Thompson, I think it's Alex Thompson is the other guy that wrote the book with him. It was on, I think it was on Fox, but it was a CNN clip where he actually had the nerve to, Alex Thompson, yeah, he actually had the nerve to say that Joe Biden's decline was obviously missed by everybody. But Donald Trump currently, as he's running, as he is now in his position, is not transparent about his medical health, about his health. What a crock of shit. Donald Trump just last month did his medical. Alex Thompson, you need to hang your head in shame for even suggesting that Donald Trump has not been transparent with his health. The man at 80 is in better condition, in better health, and probably could run circles around you, Alex Thompson, and you, Jake Tapper, could probably outwake you, outsmart you, and outdeal you in a second, right? Because that's the man he's trained to be. He's always been that way. Go back and look at his history. This man doesn't shirk. He doesn't shirk. He doesn't call a lid at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 10:15 in the morning. How many of those did we get? 10, 15. We'd get the morning briefing and then that was it. Lid. After the briefing. Biden wasn't even in the White House most of his presidency. He was on the beach in Rehoboth or in bloody Delaware. Wasn't even in the freaking White House. They've got the nerve to freaking criticise how Donald Trump is presenting himself in this presidency. I swear to God, hang your heads in shame, you disgusting creeps. I'm going to flick to this clip now. It's probably about 6 minutes long. Yeah, 5 minutes long, about 5 minutes long left on there, just under 5. And it's going to talk about the book and the absolute gall of these people. This is just the first clip that I grabbed from Fox and Friends. It's all over the place. Everybody's talking about it on the right wing, right side. We're all laughing our boxes off about it. But yeah, let's play this and have a chat about it after.
Thompson joined Fox News Sunday to shed more light on the attempt to hide Joe Biden's decline. Listen to this.
Throughout 2023 and 2024, there were steps taken to increasingly shield Joe Biden, not just from the public, but from members of his own cabinet, members of his own senior staff. And one White House official who left in 2024 told us that they left in part because they were not comfortable with how they were trying to shield the extent of the decline.
Okay, it's clear by now to anyone with a pulse that unelected leaders were running this country for the prior 4 years before Donald Trump, and that is a complete violation of the Constitution, our democracy, everything the Democrats always raise their fist and shake about. But will there be consequences? Will there be real consequences to those who basically took over our government? Or is this just going to be, hey, it made it into a book, let's move on to the next crazy, shiny object in the room?
I think, if anything, what it's really done is drive home the reality that fake news was real, propaganda press existed, and the left utilized that to push a complete lie on the American people, because at the end of the day, they would rather have a man with stage 4 cancer and cognitive decline have the title president than actually, and in doing that, watch the country burn down, essentially, than do something like tell the truth because it might have helped President Trump win the election. And that's putting the American people last.
You mentioned the cancer. You were in D.C. on the ground. Is the prevailing sentiment that he had this cancer prior to the announcement last week?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, I've read some few articles in terms of the medical background to it, and you cannot get this far into this type of cancer without there being blood work evidence long before this type of announcement. So when you see that, you really have to wonder, like, they can deny it, but, they always say follow the science. What kind of science are we following?
Look, the fact of the matter is there are unanswered questions, and this isn't somebody's HIPAA report. This is real national security and constitutional questions that are presenting themselves here. We do need those answers, and so I think what Congress is doing, trying to get those answers. Also, I think to the question I asked you, there need to be consequences because we cannot have this happen again.
No.
Before we let you go, I want to get your final thoughts on this. Colorado Democrat Senator Michael Bennet says he's furious with his own party. Listen.
I don't think nationally the Democratic brand helps very much anyway. I mean, anywhere. If it did, we wouldn't have lost to Donald Trump twice. I know a lot of supporters of mine and friends of mine are furious at Donald Trump. Are furious at people they think aren't standing up enough to Donald Trump. I am. But I'm also furious at the Democratic Party that has lost twice to Trump.
Okay, we've heard this a few times from some leaders in the party. So if the Democrats know they are failing, why do they continue to refuse, we're now at Memorial Day, to dump the policies that have gotten them in this mess? It seems like they're like, we stink, we're horrible, yet they continue with the same policies.
Oh, absolutely. And they keep focusing on branding. They keep thinking that branding's their problem. No. Policies are your problem. And they have no concept of the consequences their policies have forced upon the United States. And they truly believe, like, he can be furious at Donald Trump all he wants, but the fact of the matter is the people voted for Donald Trump. You look at his home state of Colorado, the crime is out of control. In the San Luis Valley alone, the cops are too scared to drive through there. They just got a serial killer named Psycho who murdered 5 people, and this is in Colorado. So for someone that, you know, really wants to run for governor and all of a sudden wants to try to come out in all his glory, you know, saying, oh, the Democrats, it's our brand. It's not your brand, sir. It's the fact that you do not stand up for the American people or your own home state.
It's crazy. There's so many, millions, I'd say, Democrats and independents who want to vote Democrat. They want to put that ballot box vote for a Democrat, yet they can't. They're like, we have to go with the Republican because the Democrats are so far in left field. It's wild to watch, and they still haven't figured it out.
They still haven't figured it out. It's
Tiffany
hilarious.
Marie Brandon, thank you for figuring out your way to the studio. I'm not implying that you had trouble here. We're just happy that you're here.
I did get a little lost,
Stop
but thanks
it.
for having
It's fine.
me.
Tiffany, thank you so much.
And there you have it. So, go back to here. Oh no, we'll go here. So, there you have it. That was Alex Thompson trying to defend the sources from the book, trying to what's going on with the stream, trying to like back himself that they did the right thing. They didn't do the right thing. They didn't do the right thing. If they had done, like Alex Thompson has said, Jake Tapper decided to do this the night before the election. The night before the election? Why? What like revelation came to him the night before the election that he said, right, we've got to do a book on Biden? He wasn't even running the night before the election. He was running. Kamala was running. He hadn't been running since August. So, look, I don't know. You tell me what you think, if you want. Nobody ever comments on my pages anyway. But anyway, I'm just telling you, these guys are donezo. If they don't get their shit together, with this, the cancer bullshit, like you heard them. There is no way, there is no doctor on this planet that would agree that Biden's cancer, unless there is only one other explanation. If they are telling, which I don't believe really for a second, because they've admitted that Joe hasn't, supposedly admitted that Joe hasn't had a PSA test since 2014. That's 11 years this year, right? So let's just say that he hasn't had a PSA test and he was fine all the way up into the presidency. What did Joe Biden do during his presidency that could have caused a cancer to grow? I think we all know what that was. And it starts with a big V. I don't even know why we're still calling them vaccines. Poison. The poison that they pranced Joe out into the fake White House, into the fake Oval Office, remember? And they sat him on the stage and had him roll up his arms and jabbed him. He must have been jabbed at least 4 times on television, like boosters and all of that. So if there is a possibility in this realm of fake news and Biden lies and obfuscations that Joe Biden was fit and healthy at the beginning of his presidency as far as cancer and prostate is concerned, then why is nobody asking, did the vaccine create a turbo cancer in Joe Biden? Did it create a cancer in Joe Biden that he found out about, I would say, not long after he pulled out of the election? I would say he's been dealing with this since not long after he pulled out the election. But there is a reason why I say that. Because what else did Joe Biden do at the end of his presidency? Well, him and the auto pen. Apparently, rumor has it, he signed his family's pardons with his own hand. Apparently. Now, not sure. That's not verified. I heard it. I guess we could go back and check it somewhere on details on Google or AI or whatever, but he didn't pardon himself. He pardoned Hunter, pardoned Jill, pardoned his sister, pardoned his brother, pardoned everybody in infinity, right? But Joe Biden never gave himself a pardon. Now, one might say it was because, well, that would look bad. It just wouldn't be a good look. But come on, tell me, a person that is so lacking in moral standing and any ethics at all, right? Joe Biden, why would he do all of these blanket pardons for his family but not cover his own ass? Because he could still go to jail. He's not pardoned. Hunter doesn't have to go to jail. He's pardoned, but Hunter does have to speak to whoever he needs to speak to if he's called upon to be spoken to, because he no longer has the coverage of the Fifth Amendment privilege. That was all Joe had, was his Fifth Amendment privilege. But he didn't pardon himself. Could it be because he knew not long after he pulled out of the race that he wouldn't need a pardon for himself? Planning for the future? He knew he wasn't going to be around. He knew he was dying. He knew that his wife would need protection after he's gone. So what did he do? He protected his family first. Now, the other guys, the generals and the bloody what's-his-names and all of those others that got pardons, I believe they were all done with the auto pen. So the validity problem with that is coming into question now. But I just think about it, people. Joe Biden did not need a pardon because Joe Biden knew he was not long for this world. Dead men can't talk and dead men don't go to jail. Right? Only people he needed to protect was his family, Hunter, his wife, Jill, his brother, Jim, and his sister, Sue. As far as family pardons are concerned, I don't know if the daughter-in-law got pardons. I don't know if any of the periphery, the kids, Naomi, all of those, the Bo's ex-wife, I don't know if any of them got pardons. But Joe didn't get one. Joe didn't need one. And that's all I've got to say about that. No pardons necessary for Joe Biden. Oh, dear. Speaking of pardons, like everybody's going on about Kash, Dan Bongino, Epstein files. And look, you know what? To be honest, I'm right teetering on the edge. I want to see something happen. Emily Campagno today said the same thing. Just give us something, please. We need something. Like the pipe bomb, great. Reopening the pipe bomb thing. Let's get some action on it. Dan Bongino had so much to say on the pipe bomb. I want to see some action. Dan Bongino had so much to say on Donald Trump's assassination attempt in Butler. I want to see some action. I want to know who Daniel Crooks, who that Crooks guy was. I want to know his background. I want to know what his plans were. Okay, we can't talk about the other guy, the Florida guy. Can't talk about him because his case is pending indefinitely, apparently. But Crooks, dead, gone. Parents, they got his insurance money already. They don't they got nothing to fear. They didn't pull the trigger. We want the facts. Vinny from Patrick Bet-David podcast, I'm in your tent. I'm on your team, 100%, Vinny. Bondi has admitted that they have thousands of hours of video from Epstein Island, thousands of hours of children being molested, underage girls being trafficked. Vinny said, who were they trafficked to? Epstein is dead. Ghislaine's in jail. What's missing? Who were the girls and the boys trafficked to? They're the people we want to see at the end of a pair of handcuffs. That's who we want to see at the end of a pair of handcuffs. We want nothing less than handcuffs for everyone. Dan, I hope you're listening. If you have got hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of video, you have faces, you have names, and you have high-ranking officials on that damn video. We want to see those people in handcuffs. There must be consequences. I don't care how high up you are. I don't care if you're the president of the fucking world. You molested a child, fucking go to jail. Good night, nurse. These people must be brought to justice. Children at this very moment could still be in those people's hands, Pam, Kash, Dan. There are children right now being raped by those predators that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked the children to. They must pay. And if they don't pay, then everyone is going to suggest that the crooked FBI is the same crooked FBI with a different boss, right? And only you can prove us wrong. Only you can improve on the record and the history of the last 4 years of the FBI. Well, not even the last 4 years, the last 8 years of the FBI, because the 4 years of the FBI meddling in the Trump administration, all of that needs to come out. That, Epstein, the rest of the bloody JFK files, I keep hearing there's still 80,000 pages squirreled away somewhere. Like, there is so much. There is so much. It's got to end. It's never going to end unless somebody is hauled off. It's never going to end until the bracelets are on. Because these people have no fear. They have no fear. They have no fear. That's all I've got to say about that. Do your jobs. Look, I'm back here. I'll back you. But sooner or later, the tide's going to turn and we're not going to be able to back you. And you're just going to be the new Christopher Wray sitting in front of Congress telling us, sorry, I can't comment on that because it's under investigation. That would not be good. That would be very bad. Very bad. All right, let's get to the next story of the night, which is quite hilarious. Don't fancy being the president of France at the moment because he just got a little bitch slapping that nobody would ever want. Like, ridiculous. bitch slapping. Now what's going on here? Why isn't that sharing? Okay, what's going on? Ugh. Share. Right. Okay. So we have got Emmanuel Macron's wife, Brigitte, Candace's favourite topic, Candace Owens' favourite topic, favourite man/woman/ child predator, smushing her husband's face just as he's about to get off. When I first saw it, I was just like, oh my God, is that real? I thought it was AI. I really did. I thought somebody's fun. This is really good. But you see the look on the assistant's face. The assistant's face. Oh my God, it is priceless. Like, you can see that she's seen what's happened. She spotted it. I don't know if she could hear. Loud for the engines and that, I guess. But I don't know if she could hear, but she definitely saw. And if you watch the video, look, they obviously had an argument about something. I don't know what it was, but, you know, they're not even coming out and telling. If they had the balls to just come out, you know, if Macron just came out and said, instead of saying, oh, we were just joking around, instead of saying that, if he'd just come out and he'd said, look, we've been married for 150 years. We fight. We had an argument. Sorry. What are you going to do? Kill me? We would have all just laughed and said, yeah, we know that, mate. We've been there. Don't worry about it. We're feeling, you know, we would have got a fist bump. But no, they have to lie. They have to lie. Why can't they tell the truth, these people? Will they blow up in flames? Will they choke on their words? What? Why do they lie continuously? It's a fucking travesty. It really is a fucking travesty. I mean, good God, these two people, look, she's 118 fucking years old and he's like 12, and surely she knew even from where she was standing that the door was open. Like, I know from when I'm standing in an aeroplane, like business classes at that front area there. So you're coming out and you're waiting in the line, waiting for them to open the door. You can see them opening the door. You can see the door opening. So, like, I don't know. Heat of the moment, she just couldn't restrain herself. Because if you watch, so when you watch, before you actually see her hands, you'll see Macron flinch a little bit. He's sort of like, she may be raising her hands behind what we can't see. She may be raising her hands, and he sort of does this little pullback. So let's just watch it, and I'll just get rid of myself. We'll watch it. We'll watch it a couple of times. We'll watch it. We'll watch this clip, and we'll see what they've got to say about it on Sky News. I just think it's hilarious. I just think it's so hilarious that they even bothered to try to make an excuse for it. We fought. As simple as that. We had an argument. Big deal. We fight. We're husband and wife. Hey, I tell you what, I'm so glad there's no cameras on when I'm fighting with my husband, because it would be a viral video. All right, let's go.
Emmanuel Macron has been humiliated by his very own wife in front of the eyes of the world. Yes, shocking footage has emerged overnight of the French President Emmanuel Macron being brutally slapped and shoved by his wife and First Lady Brigitte just before disembarking his plane in Vietnam. The internet went into meltdown with the bizarre display. This commentator said, "Macron, blink twice if you need help." Journalist Miranda Devine had a different take, celebrating the incident. She said, "Looks like Brigitte Macron, 72, is as sick of her smug man-child husband Emmanuel, 47, as the rest of the world is. Viva la France." But not everyone took this as lightly as Devine. This commentator used the footage to shine a light on domestic violence, saying, "Imagine for one moment if Macron pushed his wife in the face like this. Imagine. Domestic abuse against men is common and widely ignored. All violence is unacceptable. And there wasn't only tension on the plane. Macron attempted to cover up the spat by offering his arm to his wife, which she swiftly rejected, leading to a very awkward walk down the stairs. Commentator Candace Owens mocked the situation, saying, after first calling it Russian disinformation, Emmanuel Macron has now pivoted and is telling the press that he and his 80-year-old husband were play fighting. Ever play fight with a senior citizen? Also, Brigitte refused his hand coming down the stairs. And eagle-eyed viewers pointed out that Emmanuel Macron was not happy about the public display of humiliation, clenching his fists in rage on the tarmac. And perhaps the most bizarre part of the whole ordeal is how Emmanuel Macron attempted to cover up the argument to the world's media after the footage was released. The president tried to make everyone believe the couple were just horsing around and pretend fighting. He said, "I was bickering, or rather
Well, she kind of looks like a horse.
joking with my wife. It's nothing." His office also released a statement saying he was having a laugh with Brigitte. It was a moment when the president and his wife were relaxing one last time before the start of the trip by having a laugh. It was a moment of closeness. But no one seems to be buying the excuse, with this person saying, "I don't know, that look on his face doesn't seem like he's joking with anyone. He looks legitimately surprised once he realizes everyone has seen what happened." And to add to the strangeness of the whole situation, CNN has come into bat for Macron, trying to divert attention away and somehow bring Russian trolls into the story, saying, a video of French President Emmanuel Macron's wife pushing him as they disembarked a flight has caught the attention of Russian trolls after going viral. While Macron himself tried to downplay the video, saying it merely showed a couple bickering, it's...
Well, hang on. Are they bickering or are they joking around? Well, which one is it?
It's not the first time Russian troll accounts and state media outlets have tried to use videos of the French president to spread disinformation.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Do you know what's really fun?
Disinformation? Like, what the actual hell is wrong with these people? Let me just play this thing for a sec. I'm going to skip this stupid video.
Emmanuel Macron.
Okay. Like, why would Russian trolls try to be fucking with Macron's marriage? I love Candace Owens' response. Like, I love it. The 80-year-old husband, they're just play fighting. Make sure you don't break a hip there, Macron, because, you know, Brigitte. Oh, look, let's just play it again because it's so ridiculous.
Macron has been humiliated by his very own wife in front of the eyes of the world.
Okay, hang on. Let's go to the beginning.
Emmanuel Macron has been humiliated by his very own wife in front of the eyes of the world. Yes, shocking footage has emerged overnight of the French president Emmanuel Macron being brutal. Shocking footage. Emmanuel Macron has been humiliated by his very...
Okay, so have a look at her face. Look at the girl's face right there. Look at her face. She's looking directly at the couple inside the plane.
Emmanuel Macron has been...
She like, whoa, what the fuck?
Humiliated by his very own wife in front of the eyes of the world.
Oh my God.
Yes, shocking footage has emerged overnight of the French president Emmanuel Macron being brutally slapped and shoved by his wife and First Lady Brigitte just before disembarking his plane. Night of the in front of the eyes of Emmanuel Macron.
See that twist of his shoulder?
Emmanuel Macron has been humiliated by his very own wife in front of the eyes of the world. Yes, shocking footage has emerged overnight of the French President Emmanuel Macron being brutally slapped and shoved overnight of the French President Emmanuel Macron being brutally slapped and shoved of the French President Emmanuel Macron being brutally slapped his very own wife in front of the eyes of the world. Yes, shocking footage has emerged overnight of the French President Emmanuel Macron being brutally slapped and shoved by his wife and First Lady Brigitte just before disembarking his plane of the French President Emmanuel Macron being brutally slapped and shoved by his wife and First Lady Brigitte just before disembarking his plane.
They play it again.
Walk down the stairs. Commentator Candace Owens mocked the situation, saying, after first fight with a senior citizen, also Brigitte refused his hand coming down the stairs. And eagle-eyed viewers pointed out that Emmanuel Macron was not happy about the public display of humiliation, clenching his fists in rage on the tarmac. And perhaps the most bizarre part of the whole ordeal is how Emmanuel Macron attempted to cover up the argument to the world's media after the footage was released. The president tried to make everyone believe the couple were just horsing around and pretend fighting. He said, "I was bickering, or rather joking, with my wife. It's nothing."
Bickering and joking are two completely different things. Would one agree that bickering and joking are two different things?
His office also released a statement saying he was having a laugh with Brigitte. It was a moment when the president and his wife were relaxing one last time before the start of the trip by having a laugh. It was a moment of closeness.
Okay, let's see.
Relaxing one last time before the start of the trip by having a laugh. It was a moment of closeness.
You can just see that little twitch of his shoulder just before he smushes his hands in his face. His hands in his face, I guess that's right. But yeah, so he's aware that something's coming, but I don't think he realised exactly what it was, whether it was just going to be some verbal abuse. She grabbed him and she smushed his face, and all the world got to see it. All the world got to see the president humiliated completely by his wife. Like, the absolute ridiculousness of it all. I cannot believe that they played it that way. I cannot believe that they played it that they were just joking. I've been married for 25 years, and when I'm getting in my husband's face, not necessarily physically, that's not joking around. We ain't joking around. We ain't laughing and mucking around and relaxing just before we head off on our trip. What a crock of shit. What is wrong with these fucking people? Like, seriously, own up to your shit. You'll get a little bit more respect. Own up to your shit. Own up to the fact that you're a married couple, supposedly man and woman, and you've been together for however many years, and you fight. You fight. You have arguments. Maybe they wouldn't get physical, and they were right. If he was caught on camera doing that to her, because I just don't know anymore. The outrage, he would be, oh my God, they'd probably burn down the Palace of Versailles. This is the state of the world that we're in now. What you just saw then, and the acceptability so easily that CNN can come in and say Russian trolls, and Macron can say just joking, and that's accepted. That's the state that we're in at this point in time. It's really bad. It's really bad, and it's really scary. And of course, speaking of scary, that takes us to our next story, which of course is, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little bitch slapping. Of course, the next story is what is happening with President Trump and Vladimir Putin. President Trump went on his social media. Oh, he not just went on his social media, he went on in front of the press before he got onto Air Force One and said what I was saying earlier when we started the podcast. What's going wrong with him? He's gone fucking crazy. This is the time. So a couple of months ago, maybe I would have been saying Putin is like, he's the magnanimous one here in this situation, because Zelensky gave all the indications that he did not want the war to end. He was doing his money tour, he wanted to continue the fighting till the last Ukrainian. He used to say, he said it himself, to the last Ukrainian. So a few months ago, that was my state of play as far as this war is concerned. But now, with what he's done over the last 2 nights, blowing up Kyiv and killing people and sending rockets in while they're talking about treaties and ceasefires and peace agreements, it's just erratic. It's erratic. Where he's getting his advice, whether he thinks Trump's only making, small talk or just trying to bloviate, I don't know who's giving him that advice, but he should stand at attention. Like, he had his sidekick Medvedev come out and say, "Oh, what's bad things? The only bad thing I can think of is World War III." So they're taunting Trump to see if he will start World War III. Now, wouldn't the Democrats just love that? Wouldn't they just love that? I'd hazard to think that perhaps somewhere there's a Democrat in Putin's ear telling him, don't negotiate. Do not negotiate with the man. Make it, drag it out, do whatever it is that you want to do, but do not make a deal with this man. We will make it worth your while. We will give you Ukraine. It would not fucking surprise me one bit if Putin and some Democrat crony somewhere have got a side deal saying, we'll give you freaking what you want in Ukraine. You just keep this war going at all costs, because you're making money, we're making money. And while we're making money, we don't care who dies. And that is the Democrat Party. That is their morals. Those are their ethics. As long as we're making bank, we don't care who's in the tank. We don't. They don't. If they did, none of this would have ever happened to begin with. There would be no Russia-Ukraine war. There would be no October 7th. That's a whole different story. Bloody Bibi's gone nuts as well. As far as I'm concerned, they're both being erratic, and they're playing a dangerous game, not just with their lives, with everybody's lives around them. Now, Donald Trump will sanction the shit out of Russia. He will also do what he did last time, what he did to Iran, what he did to Russia. Anyone that deals with Russia, they don't deal with America. That's it. Contracts off. Tariffs or no tariffs. You deal with Russia, you don't sell your shit here. And that, my friends, will bankrupt Russia and seriously deplete his purchasing power, Putin's purchasing power, to continuously assault, to continue his assault on Ukraine. Donald Trump does not want World War III. Donald Trump wants to end everything, all the wars. He wants to end. He wants peace. He's working his ass off to get peace in the Middle East. And all of these fuckers excuse my French, but all of these fuckers, all they want to do is kill people and make money. Sell bombs, kill people, and take the cash. And that's all they ever do. Anyway, we're going to watch this little clip here. It's not very long, it's only 2 minutes and 26 seconds. And it's got that little, I think it's got the little bit of Trump at the airport. So you can hear what he's crazy. He's gone crazy. The man has gone nuts. Seriously nuts. Like, to play this game with Trump at this stage of his presidency, he's 3 months in, right? He like I said, side deal. You watch, it'll come out.
President Trump's efforts to end a war halfway around the world have had another stumbling block. The president says Russia's Vladimir Putin has gone, in his words, absolutely crazy after unleashing the largest drone and missile attack against Ukraine since his invasion. As Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson reports, Trump is threatening new sanctions on Moscow.
Well, I don't know what's wrong with him. What the hell happened to him, right? He's killing a lot of people. I'm not happy about that.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling for more sanctions after Russia launched more than 900 drones and missiles, killing 12 civilians, including 3 children. The Economist reports Russia withheld...
Including 3 children. What the fuck? Putin. What the hell is wrong with you, man? You know that those people, innocent fucking children, Putin, innocent fucking children. Stop with your bullshit. Muscle fucking flexing. We've had enough.
Help from China and Iran is ramping up the production of drones to 500 a day. It used to take Russia a month to make 300. President Trump posted on Truth Social, "I've always had a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin of Russia, but something has happened to him. He has gone absolutely crazy." Likewise, President Zelensky is doing his country no favor.
Yes, okay, well, let's just read that because they've skipped half of it. He's gone absolutely crazy. He's needlessly killing a lot of people, and I'm not just talking about soldiers. Missiles and drones are being shot into cities in Ukraine for no reason whatsoever. I've always said that he wants all of Ukraine, not just a piece of it, and maybe that's proving to be right. But if he does, it will lead to the downfall of Russia. Now, when Donald Trump says the downfall of Russia, he doesn't mean exploding Russia. He means the economic downfall of Russia. Bankrupt the country, bankrupt the man, and they will be they will have no power. They have no power if they have no money. Likewise, President Zelensky is doing his country no favors by talking the way he does. Again, agreed. He gets, now, of course, he's going to get on the end of a bloody drone bombing and say, Putin, you're a bastard. What are you doing? You're this, you're that, you're the other. But when you get on there and you say, you asshole, you're going to cop it now. Wait till you see what we do to you. We're going to kill 12 of your, not just 12 of your bloody citizens. We're going to kill 1,200 of your citizens, and we don't care if they're kids or not. We don't care. This is the back and forth between these two maniacs. Everything out of his mouth causes problems. I don't like it, and it better stop. Agreed. This is a war that would never have started if I were president. This is Zelensky, Putin's and Biden's war, not Trump's. I'm only helping to put out the big and ugly fires that have been started through gross incompetence and hatred. And that is true. Gross incompetence. Gross incompetence.
By talking the way he does. Germany announced today it would lift range restrictions on weapons sent to Ukraine, allowing Kyiv to hit targets deeper inside Russia.
We will not give Mr. Putin the opportunity to know what we are specifically doing. It will be responsible, will be such that Ukraine can defend itself effectively.
The key to dealing with Russia, I would argue, is leverage. And we have some leverage, economic leverage and military leverage.
President Trump spent Memorial Day at Arlington National Cemetery, where he laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier to honor Americans killed in battle since the American Revolution.
We will never, ever forget our fallen heroes, and we will never forget our debt to you.
Trump also used the occasion to take a shot at his predecessor.
That was a hard 4 years we went through.
Trump has called the era of nation building over, something his vice president, the first Marine veteran to hold the office, touched on in his remarks.
We must be cautious in sending our people to war.
Returning to the White House Sunday night, President Trump says he'll delay by a month those 50% tariffs on the European Union. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson.
Fox News. Okay, so there you have it. Donald Trump is very pissed off. Don't blame him at all. I don't blame Zelensky for being pissed off at all. But again, he's got to tone down the rhetoric. He's got to somebody said the other day, Patrick Bet-David, you've got to be ice cold to be a president, right? But somebody said that Donald Trump is acting with emotion. Okay, but you can't just be ice cold to be a president, Pat. I believe you've got to have some emotion. Otherwise, you're non-feeling at all, and then you don't care. If you don't have feelings for the death of other people, then you don't care, and you won't care whether to continue the war, right? So emotion, in part, to a degree, is good. You need to have it. He does have it. He sees things at a human level. That's how he sees them. He doesn't see them at an elite presidential Democrat, we're the best thing since sliced bread level. He sees them at our level. Why is that? Because he's been working with us, everyday people, for his whole life. Building buildings. He's dealing with construction workers. He's dealing with council workers. He's dealing with people walking in the streets. Everyday people. You can't deny it. You can't deny it. The amount of humanity and the amount of boss in Donald Trump is exactly perfect. Like I said, Putin doesn't have to worry about, Medvedev doesn't have to worry about a third world war, but he does have to worry about where his next meal's going to come from. Because if Donald Trump pulls economic sanctions on these people, he could ruin their country. They weren't doing well at the end of his first term. You've got to remember that. It's not that far back that we can't remember that when Joe Biden went in, he gave so much money to Iran, who then financed Russia. Oil. They're selling oil. They're trading with each other. This is what economic sanctions will do. Donald Trump will say, anyone buys or sells anything in or out of Russia, you are done with the United States. And everybody knows that everyone else cannot be done with the United States. Because what happens is they end up Russia. No economy. So what do you want to be? You want to be a nuclear power with no power? I mean, that could leave them in a position where they just think, fuck it, let's just blow the rest of the world up. Yep, it could. But inevitably, aren't they going to use the bloody things either way? Whether we destroy them economically or whether we destroy them with the first nuke, the first strike. So that's what's going on in the Baltics with this war in Ukraine and Russia. It's gotten beyond a joke. Trump's pissed off. The rest of the world is pissed off. The only people who aren't pissed off are the people making bank. you can take that to the bank. Okay, that's the last story I'm going to do for tonight, except for my last thing. I don't know if anybody's watching because I'm not doing through Rumble, normal Rumble streaming today, so I don't know if I've got any watchers or anything at the moment. But I have been posting the last day or so on my social medias a small excerpt of my 4-hour-long interview, actually 5 hours if you include the green room footage, but 4-hour-long interview with Jack Maxey, aka War Room presenter. He was second seat to Steve Bannon. Everybody would remember that's where I found out about Jack Maxey and Steve Bannon and Raheem Kassam. But I have been trying to get an interview with Maxey for probably about 12 months. We've just sort of been negotiating it here and there. We're this close to doing it in person in the US, but his schedule and my schedule were that the twain never met. But we did manage to get a 4-hour long form interview in the can a couple of weeks ago. Despite the internet problems, I just recorded it so I didn't have to worry about whether it was going to stream properly. And also I knew it was probably going to go for a while, so I didn't want to do a huge, long podcast. So I'm going to be presenting this interview in 4 parts. The interview, as I said, is about 4 hours and 6 minutes long. Jack and I discuss all sorts of things from like his childhood to the War Room days to COVID to obviously the Hunter Biden laptop ridiculousness. And we talked about why he left War Room. We talked about some of the intentions of the people that he thinks are not playing it straight with us. Of course, we talked a little bit about Marco Polo, who eventually released all the contents of the laptop, but have since removed a lot of the contents from their website. So we have that interview coming up, and as I said, I'm going to break it up into 4 parts. I have got my fiber to the premises getting hooked up in the next couple of days. So I'm going to keep this close to the chest until I know that I've got secure streaming abilities. And I will then present part 1, and we will probably do like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, one day each, like following each day following. Hopefully that is highly dependent on my schedule. As you know, it's 1:05 a.m. here at the moment. I don't actually get a lot of time to myself except at this time of night because everybody is asleep now. During the day, I care for my mother, I work, I have 2 children that live here. I'm always looking after my grandkids. I had them both on the weekend. That was so much fun. But yeah, so it's highly dependent on my schedule as to whether it will be consecutive days. But I promise you that I will not draw this out to like a 3-month thing or like 1 episode every week. I'm going to try and get it out as quickly as I can. But in the meantime, I have got a little bit of a clip that I prepared for you guys, and it is now showing currently on my social medias, Twitter, it's been so long, X and Facebook and Gab, and although Parler, I haven't even reconnected my Parler account, Getter and all of those. It's on there, but I'm actually going to show it to you now. Let's see if I can get it up there. There it is. All right. So, over here. Okay, so this is just a small little tidbit of what you can look forward to in the next couple of days, hopefully. Either late, it'll be maybe Sunday night. I reckon we're going to do this. We'll try and we'll do the premiere of the Jack Maxey interview on Sunday night. My Sunday night, which will be your Saturday morning. Very confusing. And so on and so forth. All right. Have a listen.
And my grandmother was one of the earliest hires at OSS. Worked in Germany during and after the war. Spent her whole career at CIA. Her brother-in-law was a deputy director of the FBI.
Wow.
Her other brother was a naval admiral. I was raised in a very patriotic family where everybody was expected to serve. My dad was the number 2 guy at an advertising agency called NWR, and that's, I think, the only thing that guy Yakov got right. My dad's never even met Rudy Giuliani. I discovered the outbreak by monitoring China in late December of 2019. That's why Steve and I were able to launch that show the day they shut down Wuhan with so much knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And so in 2003, there had been a SARS-1 outbreak in China, and it was perceived to have been like the next great plague of the Old Testament. It was almost killed everybody it hit. It killed a lot of young people. This is why they didn't call this outbreak SARS-2. Many things were at work. I mean, you had Tedros and the World Health Organization still claiming on the 14th of January that there was no human-to-human transmission. The lies were coordinated on a global fashion, and the only organizations on planet Earth who can control a narrative to the extent that this one was controlled, and we've now seen some clear revelations of this when we find out that USAID funds everyone from the New York Times, the Politico, to probably half the newspapers in Australia.
Yeah.
And so this means that there's a much higher level of coordination involved, and these are the people that I want to take out. These are the people who need to go down. These evil cogs in the machine need to be made, practically violent examples of. If we use the metaphor of the doctor's trials in Nuremberg, certainly they deserve to be hung by the neck.
I don't know how you feel, but I don't know if there will ever be any justice for what they did with COVID for those people. See, these are the people that seem to get away with everything, unjustly as it seems to us. That the connections that they have.
Then, and we don't need a Trump. We need a Spartacus.
Yeah.
We're all slaves then, right?
Yeah. There you go, guys. Hopefully you will join me on Sunday or Saturday morning to watch part 1 of the Jack Maxey interview that I have in store for you, because I found it completely fascinating. Like, we literally, so time difference, of course. So 11:30 p.m. we started the chat, the interview, and we finished at, actually, I think it was, it was 11:30, and we finished, I shut everything down at 6 a.m. just after 6 a.m. I think it was when I shut everything down and went inside. So we just sat and chatted all night. It was like a first date. It wasn't anything like that, but it was like, your first date when you go out with the guy that you really like the first time, and all you can do is talk. You can just talk. And it's like you go out and till the sun comes up. And I did that with my husband. That was the first, well, not the first night, but a couple of nights into our dating. But, we sat out until the sun came up and just talked. Nothing happened past talking. But it was a great conversation. So I hope that you guys will join me on, as I said, Saturday morning, Sunday night Australian time. Hopefully not this late, maybe a little bit earlier. We will see. Try and get it started around about, I don't know, maybe 8 a.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on your Saturday in the US, and at 9:30, something like that here on Sunday night. So I don't have too late a night, but it's only going to be an hour, and then we'll discuss the contents of that hour of chatting afterwards. Hopefully there'll be somebody to chat with. I don't know, but we will the myriad of topics we discussed was completely fascinating. That's all I can say. And just before I do go now, and I'll say it again when I do the next podcast, but thank you very, very much, Jack Maxey, for accommodating me with this interview. It was a long, drawn-out process, but we did get there in the end, thank goodness, and I cannot wait to bring it to you guys for real, hopefully, on Sunday, if my internet is connected. I'll keep you posted. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. Remember, here in the bunker, we always keep the faith and we follow the facts. Always follow the facts, because there's plenty of them to be found. But don't forget, even with the faith and the facts, you've always got to keep finding the fight. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Australia, have a great night. MAGA out. Bye.